I saw a smallmouth bigger than this.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good 2.5 pound largemouth at least. Looks like I've got your attention. Class will start now. Okay? Well, what's up, guys? It's Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and guess what? It's not raining. Currently, right now, in this moment, it's not raining. It's probably going to rain. And Bear needs some attention. Bear needs some camera time. He's down here yawning at the camera, making the noise. You just need to be on video for a minute? Need a little attention? So it's not raining right now. We have actually had a little bit of a dry spell. Had a couple little showers come through a couple nights ago. Other than that, like, it's actually kind of drying up a little bit. The creek's down, almost back to normal. But I do have one pressing pond project to do. I need to get the excavator and the skid steer over to the pond. I need to do a little rock work around our new spillway, which is working beautifully. But I'm not currently set up, so I got moving and doing and things I've got to set up. And I do have a new toy that I have not got to test out yet. So it's pretty. It's very pretty. So, you know, we've had this tree reaper for a couple years, and you guys saw we had an issue on a video, I don't know, a month or so ago. A blade assembly came apart and shot a blade through the deck, and when it did, it cracked a few welds on the frame, and I reached out to the company. So all that stuff came, the mulcher and that swing boom cutter all came through Ironcraft. Well, it wasn't built by Ironcraft, that's who sells it, okay? So it's actually stickered. Where did the stickers go? It's actually stickered because it's made through, this one may not have stickers on it. I might have rubbed them all off by now. Anyways, the mulcher still has stickers on it that say CID, which is the company that builds these things for Ironcraft. So I reached out to CID, and they covered the problems with this under some warranty issues. They've had a couple issues with that blade carrier assembly, and they were amazing company to work with, and I like their equipment. So we worked out a new deal. Now this is a little bit different cutter, basically the same concept as the original tree reaper. This one's a little beefier, a little better frame. I'll go into more detail in another video about this, but anyways, a new tree reaper. This is their Freedom Edition because they're made in America, and they want to showcase that in some of their implements. But we'll put this thing to work soon, won't we, Bear? And in other news, I've been shuffling some animals around because, well, it's about time to sell off some baby goats. It's that time of year. I've got a buyer lined up that wants to buy all of our babies this year, and so it's time to reduce some herd numbers. Probably separate and lock up and move some babies around, move some goats around this evening. I don't know where everybody else is right now. Oh, the donkeys are all in the back pasture. They're off grazing, so they're doing good. Charlie, Maggie, and everybody's in the barn. I mean, in the pen on the other side of the barn. But anyways, I'm gonna get to work. I need to get the bucket put on this and get the excavator and the skid steer both over to the pond and get to work. Ain't that right, Trashy? You gonna help out today? Are you gonna help out around the farm? Kelsey's not. Oh, what are you hitting me for? stuff and cooling off. Huh? Well, there's actually a little water trickling across the spillway. And it hasn't rained in almost 3 days. Interesting. So today's project that I was telling you about is going to be moving and placing all of this rock. So I had this hauled in yesterday. It's what's known as 12-inch riprap. So it's basically the same thing you'd see on any lake dam that holds water back from eroding out a lake dam. I had this hauled in because I have a lot of gravel, like creek gravel and small rock and things that I have access to. But this is what I need to stack in and around my spillway, those corners coming in and in front of the spillway, anywhere where water could possibly erode around that concrete. I want to pack a bunch of this in, and I bought specifically 12-inch riprap because I do want the bigger rocks for sure. Now there's some in here that's less than 12 inches. I mean, well, that might be 12 inches across, but you know, there's some smaller stuff, but there's not going to be gravel in this other than just, you know, some loose fine pieces that have chipped off or something. But there's some pretty substantial size rocks in here, and I'm going to start working this stuff a bucket load at a time down to the pond dam. And this is more than what I need for that specific project, but I'll find some places to use it to keep it from eroding and things. But take it down to the pond dam a bucket load at a time, because it doesn't make any sense to load it in my dump bed trailer and try to get it back there and not really have a great place to dump it. So one load at a time, then I'll use the excavator to place individual rocks where I need them. Y'all remember when I said, oh, it's not raining? Cancel that order. Because it's raining again. Not hard, not enough to stop me from working, but it's definitely raining. See if I can do this one-handed here. Not too bad. Well, it's not pretty right now with all the dirt and the mud, and you need a good rain to clean everything up and wash it all off. But that's a project that I can check off the list, because this was something that was really concerning me, and I probably overdid it. Probably put double the amount of rock in here that I really needed, but I wanted to be safe, and I don't want erosion around this thing. There were a lot of folks that said this spillway would not be adequate. The spillway wouldn't handle the water and all the things. And my only concern in the way that the guys that built this designed it was that those curbs weren't tall enough. And I don't have a fish screen on here yet. We still are going to have a fish screen built so that when we do stock the pond, which more on that in a minute, but that the fish can't just swim out the spillway. This side, the way they did it, has handled the water just fantastically, has not been any issue at all. The front side, I was a little concerned. I thought, you know, like say from here forward, and maybe even back a little bit more to the corner, would be more of a flat, straight up wall and not just a curb all the way out. I was thinking all the way down and then maybe 2 feet tall. And it would be really easy just to put a vertical fish screen on the front of it. And I don't know, that was just what I had envisioned in my head. And then when they poured it, it is a little bit different. But you guys saw in the first rainstorm, as the water rises and comes, you know, up, it was starting to come over these corners. And I didn't like that at all. I don't think it was really intended to do that. But we didn't have this part finished yet. So now the water's just not going to be able to rise right there and come up and come over that curb as easily. And water's going to go through the rocks, yes, but the fish and debris and stuff will only be able to come straight through the middle. And Cody, our pond builder, is working on a fish screen that will set in here at an angle. And I'm not exactly sure how he's designing that, how he's building it, but he had a plan. So we may have to move some rocks around for that, but I think this will work. And there's no reason to really carry riprap all the way down the dam. I know you see it like that on big lakes and things, but I'm really not worried about water coming over this dam because we have this spillway, and then we also have our emergency spillway over there, and you can see the elevation difference over there. I think, don't quote me on this exactly, but I think this spillway is about, oh, I hate it when it's zoomed out all the way. I think this spillway is about 8 or 9 inches below that emergency spillway. So if this gets to where it's not able to handle the volume of water, naturally the water's just going to go around that emergency spillway that we built over there. So there's that. And once it rains and cleans this up, it'll look a lot better, I think. And honestly, I didn't really need the excavator, the Kato mini excavator, as much as I expected, because I was able just to use it to pull the dirt back and push some dirt down into the water a little way, so that when I dumped rock, they didn't just roll down to the bottom of the pond. That was my thought. It was like, how do I stop some of these boulders from just rolling down the hill? So I used that mud as kind of a cushion. So it worked out. The skid steer did most of the work, hauling everything over here and back and forth, and was able to do a little bit of what I needed with the excavator and save my back. There's one thing about having this equipment, having the skid steer and that Kato excavator. You know, I'm not as young as I once was. And we do like to work out. We lift heavy. We do a lot of things in the gym. But throwing boulders around, you know, just wasn't really on my agenda today. I moved a few by hand, but I am thankful, very thankful, to have a couple pieces of heavy equipment to do that kind of work. Also, I was telling you, more on stocking the pond. The original plan, we were going to stock the pond the first week in June. I'm working with a pond stocking company. I'll explain more on that in a later video. The first week in June was our planned stocking date. That didn't work out because of the spillway problems. So we bumped it back to like the third week in June. Since this is completed, I was like, let's go ahead and do it. So that would be coming up really soon. But I got a call this morning that one of their delivery drivers, one of their truck drivers, passed away, and the owners of the company are having to fill his spot, and they cover like 13 states. So they're going to deliver fish here in a truck. They're going to bring them here. The owner wants to come personally and deliver everything and help me stock the pond and do all the things. But it's going to be sometime into June, early July. So we will be stocking it with bluegill, red ear sunfish, fathead minnows, a few other things. Probably going to hold off on bass until the fall, or maybe even next spring. We want our bait fish to take off and thrive and flourish and spawn and, you know, populate the pond as much as possible before we start adding predators. We will not be putting crappie in here. As much as my wife loves to eat crappie, we'll go to the lake and catch those, because crappie in a pond can take over in a hurry. And it takes a lot to feed a population of crappie, and we're more interested in growing trophy bass in here. We might throw a few catfish in. I'm not sure. Maybe some channel catfish, but we'll see. So anyways, this project marked off the list, and I'm done with that. I'm glad it's finished, and I have a little bit of peace of mind that I don't think that spillway is going to wash out and erode around it. So on to the next thing. I know Houston's at the creek fishing right now, and I think he's planning on going to the lake later today, so we'll see. Can't believe there's sand bass in the creek. As much as it's cleared up, I figured if they come up with the flood, they'd already gone back down. Houston just called and said, bring me a bucket to the creek. So I came with a bucket, but I don't know what he's going to put in it yet. You want to put a sand bass in it?
Nope.
No. I just talked to Jeff at Trout Magnet, Crappie Magnet. Asked if we wanted to go to ICAST this year, and he said he's going to send you some more of those combos.
Really?
So that combo right there came from Crappie Magnet. They gave it to Houston.
This one was from ICAST last year.
Yep, they gave this rod to Houston last year at ICAST. Trying to zoom in on it. Whoa.
Kelsey.
Won't focus on it. There you go. It's a Leland lure, 6'6", light, fast action. Perfect little creek rod, crappie rod, all the things. Leland Lures is kind of like the parent company of Crappie Magnet, Trout Magnet, and all that stuff. So, anyways, he said he was going to send you a couple more of those to do some crappie fishing with.
That's cool.
So
we're going ICAST.
Well, I haven't talked to Mom yet.
So pretty much.
You want to go back to ICAST this year?
Who wouldn't, bro? That was so fun.
Have to pick you up a boat sponsor this year.
I know. That's what we're going to do.
I mean, I like our boat. Nothing wrong with our bass boat, but
it only goes about like this compared to every other boat.
That's fine. It catches fish, and I'm happy with it. So, what are you bucketing up here? Catch some bait for the pond, some bluegills, some.
Well,
I mean, are you minnow trapping?
No. This is all I had to hold the fish.
Oh, this is your live well, huh?
Yes.
Golly! You got a giant in there. I might should have brought a scale down here. That's bigger than that smallmouth you caught in the lake the other day.
I know. That's quick.
Golly.
Right
That's
out
cool.
of the swimming hole.
You caught him right up there, huh? At the falls? Oh! So what are you going to do with this big old bass?
I'm going to put him in the pond.
Save him for our tournament tomorrow? That would be illegal, against the rules. We can't do
Look
that.
at his mouth. His jaw's like broken.
Yeah?
And he's like, his mouth is weird.
Huh.
But, anyways, we're going to put him in the pond.
Might need a little more water in that bucket than that. You'll have to put him in there upside down. Uh-oh. You know, we're not supposed to really be stocking our pond with bass just yet.
Listen.
But a few won't hurt, right?
That's right. He's probably very uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
Hang on.
It'll take you a minute to get to the pond.
There it goes.
Put him down in their head first. You said bring me a bucket. I should have brought you an ice chest.
It's not going to work.
He'll be all right.
I'm just going to fuck my numbers with it.
Kind of sort of spitting rain again. Just walk right out there. Got the perfect spot. Perfect spot to stand and fish in the future, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so we could be, catching bass from the lake and releasing them in here, but we just don't have enough of a food source yet. And it's not going to hurt to put a few bass in here. I don't want to stock a bunch of bass in here right now, but that's a really good little bass from the creek.
I know.
And
it is. I saw a smallmouth bigger than this.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good 2.5 pound largemouth at least. And I mean, he'll find plenty of frogs and bugs, and we put crawfish in here and a few bluegill and stuff that could spawn, but he'll find plenty to eat in here. You never know, that might be a future 10 pounder.
It could be.
When we stock this with bait fish and put 3,000 bluegill and 1,000 red ear and all the minnows and all the stuff, that little fish right there is going to grow fast.
Yeah, he is.
So, all right, well, don't be filling the pond full of bass just yet.
I won't.
It's hard to pass that one up, though, huh?
I know. When I caught that, I was like, dude, there's no way he's not going to let me put this in here. I mean, easy 2.5. Like, you kind of have to.
Yep. I don't know if we're gonna get to go to the lake today, though, buddy. It's a little stormy looking. We'll see. It's still early. It's only 2 o'clock. Maybe by 4 o'clock it'll clear out of here.
Yeah.
Charlie's on the run. Where you going, Charlie? Well, as you can see, it's getting late in the evening, and we did not get to go fishing today. Well, we used to fish in the creek for a little while, but we didn't get to go to the lake, which is fine. But kind of got rained out. We didn't get a ton, but it was just these storms just kept building around us, and it wasn't the day to go to the lake, so didn't do it. But I think I may set some panels up and go ahead and separate these baby goats, and maybe even load them in the trailer. I've got to have them delivered bright and early first thing in the morning, so they may spend the night in a trailer. But I'm running out of daylight. It's literally like 8:30 in the evening, but they should be pretty easy to get over here with a little bucket of feed and set up some panels. I don't think there'll be a problem. Loading them might be a chore, but they're baby goats. You just pick them up and put them in the trailer. How's the donkey babies? All three are doing well, growing slowly, I guess. Fallon, how's your baby? You like being a mom? Is it the joy of your life? Good talk. Hey, goats. You can come out of the barn. It's not raining. Come on, goat. Come on, goats. Come on, goats. Come on. Just follow me. Let's play follow the leader. Come on. Come on. Let's go. All right, Bear, I need you to make sure those babies don't go out. Yeah? Get them on in here. Come on. Skip, get over here. Hey, you need to get out. I got most everybody in here that I need caught. There's one little young one still over there. Watch out, Lambert. Watch out, Lambert. Lambert, move. Everybody stay calm. Nobody panic. Don't jump. Nobody jump. Hey. Let's go. In the trailer.
Go, go, go.
Come on.
Go, 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 babe.
Come on.
Nope.
You gotta turn around there, Mama. You're going too. Come on. Come on. Everybody goes. Nice and calm. Nope. Going in the trailer. Come on. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Oh, yeah. Got a horsefly biting me. Oh.
Go. Go, buddy. Or don't.
I'm sorry. I got a horsefly that's eating me alive.
Go. He is not going. Go. There.
Walk him in. Walk her in.
That's a
Horsefly
him.
Eating me up.
It's a him.
Yeah, just walk him in.
Go.
Go, go, go. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
I got one more that I need to catch. As you can see, there's not many goats.
We don't have many.
I'm not keeping very many goats. Whoa!
Bear, what are you doing?
Bear! You don't cause chaos. Okay.
Got it. Sorry.
Just need the young one there. That's only going to leave us 4 mama goats. And that's just because I'm being nice, because I can't get rid of Lambert. I can't get rid of Skip. And I can't get rid of this big pretty spotted doe. And Skip's got one that looks just like her. So if you notice, I don't know if you noticed, Mom, I loaded our big old
brown,
spotted doe
yeah,
in there.
I noticed.
She was born here and she's probably 7.
Yeah.
But she's got all kinds of problems with her udder. She did raise a baby this year. Last year she had a horrible time, but she just keeps getting mastitis in her udder. And honestly, I'm about out of the goat business. It made sense once upon a time for us to have a whole bunch of goats. They did a lot of land clearing for us. They had a lot of brush and weeds, and now they're just don't really fit in on the farm anymore for us with our goals and plans and things that we want to do. And quite honestly, they've become more of a problem, more of a headache than anything. We're having problems with, I've shown you on video, having problems with the creek and the fences, and the sheep and goat wire catches all the debris, and everything else would stay in a standard barbed wire fence except our goats. I haven't decided. I just don't see keeping very many goats on the farm in the future. So we'll have a few around, but not very many. So, see if I can catch this little girl. I think it's a girl. Yeah. Lambert, you're in the way.
Lambert's like, I was here first.
Yeah.
Go. I don't want goat. It's on my feet. You lost her.
You are no help.
Nope.
Why are you hanging on the fence?
Because I don't want to step it on my feet.
Horsefly's still eating me alive.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's huge. Ah.
He couldn't handle them guns. Did you see that?
I saw that.
He landed on them biceps, and that's all she wrote.
Oh.
Sorry, you got a horn in the butt.
I thought so.
It was really the goat's bad, not my bad. Up. Okay. Man, I'm itching. That horsefly hurt. Whoa, look at all them eyeballs glowing. All right. Y'all rest up tonight. I'll make sure you get a little fresh water in the morning before we head off to your new pastures. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. You girls about ready to go? Or ladies and gentlemen, not all girls. Huh? Looks like I've got your attention. Class will start now. Okay? Okay. Bright and early the next day. And fixing to head off. Like I said, I've got somebody lined up that wants to buy all of our goats this year. Matter of fact, he'd probably buy every one of my goats. No idea what he's going to do with some of them. Some of them are bucks. They're billies. They will end up probably going to a sale and going to a processor. They're Kiko meat goats. Some may be breeder bucks. Who knows? The little does will probably be, obviously, does. They're probably not going to, go to a processor. They'll end up on a farm, on a pasture, and raise more babies probably. But it is weird. Like we've had a lot of goats over the years. I've had as many as 30 or 35 goats, and we used to have more of a purpose, more of a need, a necessity on the farm for the goats. And over the years, it's just kind of trickled down, and they're really not, they don't fit into what we're doing necessarily anymore as much. And it's just time to transition out of the goat business. And still keeping a few around. We got a couple that we raised on a bottle and some that are kind of significant. Isaac's not going anywhere. He'll die here. If he ever dies. He might outlive all of us. That guy's like ancient. He's as old as the hills. But, yeah. It's time. I've thought about it for the last couple years. But, it's time. Well, we are not technically officially out of the goat business. I can still hear goats in the background. So we have 4 does. Isaac's here. Copper's still with my father-in-law. We've had goats on our farm since Emily was about 2 years old, roughly. We started getting a few bottle babies. She might have been less than 2 years old. So we've legitimately had goats here nonstop for 15 years. And they served a great purpose for us. They did a great job. And they really don't serve that purpose here anymore. We used to process a few and put them in the freezer every year. And, you know, my family doesn't prefer the goat meat. Over time, they've just really made it clear to me that they'd rather just eat beef. And we haven't processed our own beef in a while, but we split one recently with my in-laws. They had a steer that we just bought and split it. So it's still fresh, local, homegrown beef. We just didn't raise it ourselves. But, you know, I think a lot of folks have different expectations of what we should and shouldn't do with our YouTube channel. And that's kind of a tough situation because I know a lot of folks came here for the animals, and we still have animals. The animal content's not as big as it used to be on our channel. Just like years ago, the garden was a major part of the channel. And then the greenhouse was what I thought was going to make my channel really take off. Bear, you going out of there? You know, I get whining. And come out and play with Kelsey for a while. Kelsey, Bear wanted out with you. Kelsey, come on. But like I said, the greenhouse, obviously, is completely gone now. Our interests change over time. And I absolutely love being a content creator. And part of that is evolving and following what works for us, what works for our channel, not necessarily what works for other channels, but what works for us and our family's interest. And the garden thing kind of fizzled out because, quite honestly, I grew probably about 50 times too many vegetables. We couldn't eat them all. Even if we canned and preserved things, we couldn't eat it all. And a lot of it went to waste. I fed a lot of it to chickens and goats and animals and stuff. And it's hard to sit out there and work for hours on end in the heat just to give it away or to feed it to your animals. So that slowly transitioned out. The goat thing, I was the goat guy on YouTube for a long time. If you go back and look in the early years, the goat thing was big for me. And it was good. It was great. And I enjoyed being in the goat business and raising goats. And as the channel grew, folks got more and more attached to individual animals, and it became less about herd management and culling does that I didn't need, and more about naming individual animals and people falling in love with them. And that was fine. That was okay. We were able to use the goats on our farm to do more than any other normal goat farm around. I mean, people raise goats all over the place, and they raise them, they get them up to 50, 60, 70 pounds and sell them and get whatever they get for them. We were able to use those goats as a farm business in a totally different way, because they were characters. They were characters on a channel, and I understand that. And over time, it's just, I've tried to get away from that because it just wasn't the same for me over time. And our family's interests have changed. You guys have seen that. And I grew up hunting and fishing and living in the country and all the things on this property. We didn't have near the number of animals we have now. We had a few cows and things, but it's different. But I grew up hunting and fishing, and that's where my interest was as a kid, and that's still where my interests have always been. And as Houston's grown, he was a gardening guru as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old. Loved growing watermelons and carrots and doing all the things. And I was teaching him to fish, and I was teaching him to hunt. And Emily loved to hunt, hated the garden. Weston hated the garden. He hunted when he was little and then kind of got out of that. But my kids' interests are not necessarily in the farm activities as much as the hunting and the fishing stuff, and the lake, and all the things that we do, the creek, the ponds. It's just, I don't know. Right now, I see a pattern over time for me and my content, and it's less about the animals. DJ still has her channel, Do Your Best, where she shows the donkeys, all of her donkeys, every week pretty much. That's what she's about. That's what her channel's about. And kind of transitioned into letting her show more of the animals and me not showing the exact same thing. Because if she's going to show off baby donkeys, it's hard for me to come out here and film baby donkeys, because then I kind of take that from her. And I don't want her to show the same things I do. So over time, you guys have seen a lot more equipment videos. We got fishing stuff, we got hunting stuff, and just family. This YouTube channel is just what our family's interests are. It's our daily life as a family. And when I was spending hours on end out here in the greenhouse and the garden and not spending it with the rest of my family, Houston came down there with me, but other than that, that was it. I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. And I learned over time I was missing out. So, nobody be sad because we're selling off goats. Don't be sad. We've got a lot of other content that the majority of our audience loves. So, it is what it is. But anyways, it's kind of a dreary, drizzly, rainy day. It is Thursday. So hopefully it clears off and Houston and I can go hit our Thursday night bass tournament, because he won a little money last week and he's chomping at the bit. Got to get out there. We got to win. So maybe that's what we'll do today, if it'll let us. The weather has not been good to us this year. So anyways, guys, remember, do something today to make somebody smile, because you never know. It just might change the world. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day. And as always, we'll see you on the next video.